Today, 4 planning tactics that can identify and prevent a failure before it happens. And it's all done by making yourself just a wee bit paranoid. Hi, I'm Graeme Newell. My speeches and webinars show you how to use the latest brain science insights to make smarter money decisions. Click on subscribe and the bell below to see more of my videos. Recently, a research buddy of mine got all fired up when he was invited to join a prestigious group of industry bigwigs. The group was formed with a single purpose: to co-author a book. But before they got started, my data-obsessed buddy decided to do a quick survey. First, he polled his co-authors, asking each to estimate the chances of success. Not surprisingly, the number came back really positive. But then, he also did a quick survey of a big group of his outside colleagues. He found a lot of people who had attempted a similar group book writing project over the years. What was the success rate? 0%. Not one of them had successfully completed a book written by a group. My friend gave his co-authors a tremendous gift. He starkly revealed the realistic chances of success. He saved his co-authors from a cognitive bias called the planning fallacy. The planning fallacy is our brain's pesky tendency to continually underestimate the time, the risk, and the resources it will take to complete a task. And although a lot of us tend not to notice too much, this cognitive bias pervades most people's lives. For most of us, it happens most often at work. Research shows that more than 2/3 of IT projects miss the deadline. Most industrial research and design projects take an average of 3.5 times longer to complete. 90% of professional writers miss their manuscript deadline. The planning fallacy is the reason we're so often late to work. Last year, 12 million people missed the tax filing deadline. And year after year, too many of us leave Christmas shopping until it's almost too late. So why do so many smart people continually underestimate the time, effort, and money it takes to get things done? Well, believe it or not, a leading theory says the problem is that we're just too darn positive for our own good. Most of us have optimistic expectations for ourselves and other people. This is because evolution has hardwired our brain to remember good stuff and forget bad stuff. Just ask anyone at a New Year's party to describe the coming year, and you'll be regaled with an optimistic tale of soon-to-be-realized wins and successes, completely devoid of disappointment. This optimism helps us feel better, but it taints our decision-making. And the same thing happens on projects we undertake. We tend to ignore the common outside influences that inevitably slow things down. People get sick, staff quits, conflicts arise, and critical supplies are late. But doing detailed planning for some possible problem that may never happen, that just takes all the fun out of everything. So we tend to foolishly assume that everything will just work out in the end. We'll deal with those problems when and if they happen. But the hard truth is that most startups fail. Successful businesses are the anomaly. We really want our dream project to work, so we tend to cast ourselves as the head cheerleader for a utopian undertaking. So how can you avoid the planning fallacy? Well, here are 4 specific strategies for you. Number 1, look back, not forward. Because planning is inherently future-oriented, we're inclined to stay focused on the future. Have you or your company tried projects like this before? Can you do a debrief with those who attempted similar projects? What about your competitors? Can you learn from their mistakes? The second strategy for defeating the planning bias? Enthusiastically become a student of failure. That's what Eric Yuan did when he started his Zoom online meeting company. He built Zoom's amazing strategy by relentlessly studying failure. Throughout Zoom's history, Yuan relentlessly studied every bad choice and misstep done by all his competitors. He was the maestro of understanding what doesn't work. The entire team at Zoom is schooled in catastrophe. That's why massively scaling its business during the pandemic didn't kill it. Zoom triumphed because it turned the planning fallacy on its head. It obsessively sought to understand how things could go wrong. The third strategy is to create a most likely to fail document. Go through the list: supply chain, staffing, resources, competitors, and all the things your business does badly. Assign a probability of failure to each key component. And be sure to identify the critical components that could cause a cascade of other failures. These are the ones you'll want to investigate most closely. And the fourth strategy, create a post-failure plan of action. After the deadlines are missed and products aren't delivered, what would you do to get things back on track? Great generals always have reserve supplies and fresh troops ready to swoop in and save the day. Make sure you have a careful plan for how you'll lose the battle, but still win the war. The planning fallacy tricks us into inflating our chances of success. And there's another behavioral finance bias that also blinds us to our own failures. If you'd like to watch another video on that, click on the info card right here to see that video now. So remember, seeing the glass as half full helps us keep a positive outlook. But when it comes to the major projects in our lives, pragmatically channeling our pessimistic side could save us a lot of money and heartache. Right now, I'm working on another video about how cognitive biases tempt us to make bad financial choices. If you'd like to be alerted when that video is completed, just click on my face below to subscribe. And be sure to click that alert bell too. And I've created tons more videos on how brain science can help you make smarter money choices. Click on this box to see the full playlist. I'm Graeme Newell, and that's Better Decisions Through Brain Science.